All right, everybody, welcome back. We are about to start our next segment, and I can't be more excited to bring up Moretas from COR Improvements. Moretas, how are you doing this morning? Oh, no, it's
Good.
lunchtime.
It's
It's
actually
afternoon.
afternoon. It's afternoon.
Holy smokes, the time has flown so fast. We're now into the afternoon. This is absolutely
Exactly.
crazy. Do you have some fun, exciting things to talk to us about?
Oh my Lord. Yes, I do. I have some really fun stuff to share with you guys today. Obviously yesterday we were talking about doors. Today we're going to be talking about cameras and lights.
All right, well, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll catch up with you later.
So I'm going to share my screen really quick. If you just give me a second. Here we go. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. So, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited about sharing this information to you. So, this is the part 2 of Peace of Mind Smart Living. So, yesterday I wanted to let you guys remember or remind you that obviously taking an older home and then just modernizing it just enough to obviously save energy or to have some more better convenience in your home, or even having security is very valuable. And obviously for the resale value of the home it's great, but also just for remodeling it's much better because obviously it's the asset that you're putting money more into your asset, the biggest thing that you put money into in your life. So with that said, let's move into this. So with peace of mind, okay, our biggest fear, obviously, people coming into our space, making us feel very uncomfortable and vulnerable. It's very terrifying. I want to give you some facts in this, just so you know. So, from the FBI Uniform Crime Report statistics, every 13 seconds, a home burglary takes place. 4 burglaries a minute, 240 an hour, and nearly 6,000 a day. Terrifying. It's terrifying to even think that that happens, and this happens that often. I couldn't believe it when I read this information. The FBI says, according to the FBI, 65% of burglaries happen between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. while you're at work or at school, and the most common hours are from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, I bring all this up because the most important thing that we need to do is get cameras. I think that it's very valuable. I have it on my own home. One of the areas that I actually protect the most is your egress. So as you can see, someone's walking up towards the egress. You can see the beautiful camera and how much it really takes up that space, and it really shows. Protects a lot of that space in that area. It also protects our favorite ones in our lives, our fur babies, as well as our children. So it's very important that we have these things that we protect the outside of our home. Because sometimes, an example, your egress window. People are remodeling a lot of basements now. And what's very popular is that you obviously add a bedroom down there. A bedroom, you need an egress window. To have an egress window, the window is for emergency, so we cannot barricade it. So how else do we protect it? With cameras. So it's important that we actually know this and we actually start using more of we start using more cameras to protect the outside of our homes. When you protect the outside of your home, you want to make sure that obviously you're not spending an enormous amount of money on this. Obviously, there's a lot of cameras and a lot of security stuff out there, I should say. And one of the things that I'd like to share with you today is how to put up one of your cameras. They're actually very easy. But the number one rule I want to point out is that make sure when you're on ladders that you partner up with someone. So sometimes you could do, some of the stuff around the DIY stuff, you could do it on your own. But this time I would say I would recommend, just for your own protection, to partner up. So when you put a camera on, just so you know, the type of tools that you would be using, and it's very basic, you would be actually using just a drill. You would just, if it's a very small bit that you would actually be screwing into, you would want to make sure that you find one of the 2x6s, or just there'd be a wood up inside your soffit. You could tap your soffit and you could see if there's something that's solid there. You want to make sure that you hit that when you screw in, when you drill a hole. When you do that, then you just take your screwdriver, so your drill bit, your drill, and your screwdriver, and you just screw it right in after you make that hole. It really is that simple. Then what you'd want to do is you want to make sure that you start maintaining it. So this is the next level that we always tell people. Again, you're going to be using a ladder when you get to these cameras because you want to make sure that you put it up high so you can see the angle that we're at. And if you look down, how tall she is, she's above the garage door. So when she, I would think it's about, I'd say about once a month, depending on the weather around here, sometimes it's about 3 weeks to 5 weeks that we actually replace that camera or that battery, not the camera, the battery. So when we replace the battery, all you need here is a ladder and another battery. So you would actually take that other battery that's already all charged up, you would pop open the bottom, you would slip the battery right in, you clip it in, and then you'll want to make sure while you're up there, you test it as well. So after she's done doing that, she's going to get on her cell phone. She's going to make sure that the camera didn't move that much. And then she just goes ahead and she checks it out. She waves her hand around. And then after she's done, that's all it takes. So we want to make sure that people do protect themselves in this way. And they realize that it is not that hard to actually do. So a study says that the habits and motivationals of a burglar conducted from a U.S. or UNC Charlotte found. Okay, so the habits that were found were that burglars are most attracted to homes that do not have home securities, but only 17% of homes have a system in place. Homes without security systems are 100% more likely to be burglarized. 95% of all home invasions require some sort of forceful entry, being that breaking a window, picking a lock, or kicking a door. 85% admittedly, these burglars, I don't know how they found them, but the habits of the burglars admitted that they specifically look for these. If there's an alarm, they would not show up, or they would actually change their mind and they would walk away. So the moral of the story, I would say, is that if you scare them off, if you can't scare them off, put them off. So we're using a camera and having flashlights, or having just even a fake camera. I've heard, just a dummy camera that scares burglars off. I would like to go now into the second part and share with you about lights. So these lights are obviously something very important it could be for security, but also could be for convenience. So right now you can see that as the lights are going up and down, this is actually connected to an app on a phone, which is really nice because on this app, what you can do is you can actually, protect your home from a distance. Before you drive home, before you get home, you can actually go through and you could turn on lights for yourself as well. So you could control and manage the lighting, automatically turn them on and off. From a distance, you could switch all the lights on and in the building, all with one touch. And it does come on and off really quick. The lights are on, and before you come home, you can actually, you can have a light on for you to protect you. There's also the motion action, obviously, that it activates the lights in pantries, cupboards, or even like outside where cars are parked. So then the lights, when you leave, lights can also turn off. So a lot of those, and you can see that with the scenes and schedules on the top of the screen. So there's a huge variety of the way that you can actually control these lights and different parts of the home as well. One of the best places to use these lights, obviously, and also with the app, would be the outside, around your garage, around your front porch, where then in the evenings, what they do is that it actually, and I have one, and when installing it was probably the best thing that I could have done. When I installed them in the evening, the lights come up just before, when the sun goes down, and then it goes down after around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But they're sensitive enough that if anybody walks by, the lights would come on. So it really is a nice security, but also what's really nice about it is that it's not, that it's nice and bright in the evenings when it's dark outside. Another place I love putting lights in it, just for like the ambiance feel, is in a basement. So when we do a remodel of a basement, one of our favorite things to do is put up, can lights, and where you can actually dim them. And sometimes when you're sitting there watching a movie, you could get up and, you could turn off you could turn up and down the lights. But since if you're wanting to smart up your home and you want to have some convenience, the best part you can do is that you could just, right from your app, you could turn the lights down. And the best part about that too is that if you're working out, this is one of my favorite places. My gym that I built at home. The best part is that I don't know if you could see it, but you could see the lights starting to dim, and it just gets to a point of where when I'm ready to meditate, you can turn off or you could turn on the lights. So you could create that scene of where it creates that lighting environment that you'd like to have. So, what are your protection options? Not surprisingly, burglars are typically avoid homes that are too difficult and too risky. So you want to make sure that you take a few steps to prevent the home intrusion, and it's just a few that I'm going to share with you today. You want to add security cameras. Make sure they are visible, even if they're dummy cameras. Remember that. If you want to make sure that if a burglary is in process, that you can scream or yell out, hey, get the gun. When they know that you're aware and you have self-defense measures, it's less likely that they'll follow through with it as well. For elderly residents that live alone, medical alert systems can usually alert the police as well. So this is very important information. You've also, if you just moved in, you can make sure that you change your locks on the exterior doors. Get to know your neighbors. They're the first line of defense. You watch their house, they watch your house. And then, of course, your homes are a huge asset. So we put a lot of money into maintaining and remodeling these homes. So it's important that we protect them as well. So today, I appreciate you listening to me and listening to the peace of mind and smart living. Obviously, at this time, if you have any questions, if you ever want to talk about a little bit more about how other ways that we could smart up our home, please don't hesitate to contact any of the people down underneath us. There's a lot of wonderful general contractors that are part of this this booth, this expo, and they would love to talk to you more about these amenities as well as these securities that you can have. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right, Marietta. Again, fantastic as always, talking about cameras and different types of security pieces. Yeah, I got a couple quick stories if you got time.
Absolutely. Please do share.
All right. So it's amazing when you talk about cameras. So I still live in the city. I have an alley. And we had throughout the course of the time that I had lived there, maybe 5 or 6 years, we'd had a couple of break-ins of cars, of garages, and so we were all getting a little bit nervous. So now my garage is detached, right? So when I had a consultant come in and talk to me about putting a security system in, they focused on the house. And I said, hey, you know what? My doors are important and things like that, but I really want to protect not only my garage, but my neighbors. What would be the best place to position a camera so that maybe I would help my neighbors out as well as for my own peace of mind? You put it on the alley. So it actually broadcasts the alley.
So you can actually see everybody, and also you're protecting everyone around you. I think that's a very smart idea as well. And one of the most important things about that space is that you want to make sure, and I always say this because we see a lot of these cameras that people will actually jump up and try to steal. You want to get that camera as high as you can. So you want to try to get it up as close as close to the peak as you can. You don't want to keep them underneath the soffits because that's still too short. So the higher you get it, the more important it is. And also the second thing is that you want to make sure they're going to find stuff to, if they're going to try to jump up and climb up there, you want to make it a little bit tougher for them. So make sure that camera is not where you're probably putting your garbage containers. So even if they could slide it over, it's going to take them time. The lights are going to turn on. They make a lot of noise. Don't just put it directly above it just because it makes it a little bit easier for them to jump up. So you want to make sure high and away from any sort of items or objects that they can jump up to quickly.
That's great advice. And ever since we put them up, we've had no crime on our street. Now I got a quick little story that I think is more kind of a fun one, and that is we installed the actual cameras, and about a week later, I noticed that my fence that's around my garbage cans was broken. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. I wonder what broke the fence. So as I worked my way back in the video, it turns out that the garbage truck actually hit my garbage cans and my fence. And I was like, oh my gosh, the city garbage truck hit my fence. It didn't say anything. So I called up the city and I said, hey, I think the garbage truck hit my fence. And I immediately got the, oh no, I mean,
Of
they would have
course.
reported
Of
it if they
course.
did, right? And sure enough, I said, well, I have video. And so I sent them the video. And sure enough, they didn't come and send out a crew to fix my fence. So it might not be burglars. It just might be,
Just
who hit my fence?
convenience. And taking care of your home. Again, taking care of your home in so many ways, because we're not always there, sitting there staring at our home. We're not always protecting in that. So this is just another eye to make sure that, we want to make sure we keep everyone honest around us as well. I do have one short story to share with you as well. I wish I had a camera at this time, I have to say. And that's why I wanted to share that, my little fur baby, that when she was running around, when she was younger, when we moved into a home, what happened was that she decided to go into the backyard, and we were moving, we were unpacking stuff, and it didn't hit me that until I looked up, she wasn't around. And she just took off. Well, the thing here is that, and it's only until I have a camera now that I realize how much that when I can see where she walks and I could see what she's doing outside, so I don't have to follow right behind her all the time, because she's a nice, nice one, except her nose when she goes running off, smelling the stuff. If I had a camera at that time, it would have been wonderful to know which way she turned when she went down the street to walk herself. So there's little things that now that I have a camera, I actually enjoy and love using it in many ways as well. So more than just the protection, but also, again, the convenience of it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, Meredith, it's been a pleasure as always. COR
Thank
improvements,
you.
all kinds of remodeling, right? So it's not
Yeah.
just, you've been here talking to us about peace of mind, but why don't you take a moment to just tell us a little bit about what COR improvements does and how you can help them?
Well, what we do is that we're a general contracting company. We do remodeling, we do additions, we love doing basements, kitchens, attics. We do anything in the residential home. And we love working with, basically a huge target market of people that we normally like turning to people and saying, if you are looking at wanting to do a remodel, please give us a call now, because it would take a while for us to actually do the project. And so I enjoy talking to people and at least seeing what their ideas are. And I love working with clients when it comes to their design process as well. So we're pretty laid back when it comes to remodeling, and we enjoy wanting to work with people that are like, well, I'm not sure what I want. And I'm like, well, let's help you out. So that's that's how we approach everything.
Well, it sounds like just as knowledgeable you are about peace of mind, smart living, you're even more with remodeling. So anybody
Great.
who needs to, please either visit your booth below or give you a call. Thanks, Maria. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a wonderful day, guys.